All right, this one's going to be a little different. Today, I want to start using something we're calling confidential remarks to begin talking in public about open access. That might sound contradictory, and that's intentional. What I mean is, this isn't polished marketing, and it's not a final product. It's real thinking shared openly as it's being built. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Steve Koleno. And as many of you here already know, we are actively building a new way forward for the real estate industry. One that's aligned with how the world actually works now, not how it worked decades ago. Our target to go live is March 1st, 2026. But instead of disappearing until then and showing up with a finished product, I wanted to start building this in the open with real conversations, real ideas, and real feedback. So we're going to do some of that through these confidential remarks. Think of this as pulling back the curtain while the foundation is still being poured. What you're about to see is the Open Access Constitution, not as a sales pitch, but as a framework for where this industry is headed and why. For decades, the industry has quietly inverted its purpose. Tradition has been prioritized over need, gatekeeping over access, and mandatory service structures over actual value. Open access restores the original intent. It prioritizes consumer needs, facilitates legal and financial transfer, and removes artificial dependencies that no longer serve the market. This isn't radical, it's corrective. And it acknowledges a truth the industry has avoided for too long. At the center of open access is a core belief. Transparency and choice are not threats to professionalism. They are its foundation. Informed choice demonstrates value. Structural transparency builds credibility. When consumers understand what they're buying and why, professionalism becomes visible rather than assumed. Every transaction under this framework is built on clarity, choice, and genuine value creation. Article 1 establishes consumer sovereignty. The consumer is the final authority. Choice is a right, not a concession granted by a gatekeeper. No system may restrict, shame, coerce, or obstruct lawful choices. Service, selection, and compensation structures are fundamental rights. The long-standing assumption that consumers lack competence is not only false, it is corrosive to trust. There is a persistent myth that full service equals safety and limited service equals risk. The truth is simpler and more precise. Legitimacy flows from the legal correctness and informed consent. When parties are informed, agreements are clear, and title transfers are properly executed, a transaction is legitimate, regardless of fee size or service depth. Spending more does not create legitimacy. Doing it right does. Open access recognizes that consumers are not monolithic. Some want maximum autonomy. Others want targeted expertise. Some want full management. Self-directed, advisory-supported, and fully managed paths are all valid. No path is superior by default. The right path is the one that aligns with the consumer situation, capacity, and goals. Compensation must be earned, not inherited. Value shows up as risk reduced, time saved, complexity managed, expertise delivered, and outcomes improved. Compensation can never be defended by tradition or implied moral authority. The question is not what has always been paid. The question is what value was actually delivered. Opacity is not a feature, it's a bug. Services must be clearly defined. Pricing must be understandable in real dollars. Trade-offs must be disclosed honestly. Bundling designed to obscure value is explicitly prohibited. Transparency is not performative here. It is structural. The professional role evolves from gatekeeper to partner. Professionals clarify options without bias, explain risks without fear-mongering, execute competently regardless of fee structure, and respect consumer agency even when decisions differ from recommendations. Trust is earned through clarity and results, not control. Market integrity demands truth over incentives and full disclosure of conflicts. At the same time, open access is adaptive. It integrates technology, responds to regulatory change, and future proofs the profession without compromising consumer first principles. Innovation is embraced, but only when it serves the consumer. Consumers gain real choice and clear information. Professionals succeed through demonstrated value and earn trust. Markets benefit from efficiency, innovation, and integrity, replacing opacity and gatekeeping. This alignment strengthens every participant instead of protecting a few. Open access does not exist to dismantle the profession. It exists to align it with reality, the reality of informed consumers, powerful technology, and transparent markets. We move from a world where value was assumed to one where value is proven. I want to close where this framework intentionally ends, with you. Open access doesn't tell consumers what choice to make. It doesn't mandate outcomes, and it doesn't claim there's one right way to do real estate. What it does is remove the pressure, the confusion, and the artificial limits, so decisions can be made freely, informed, and without coercion. Whether someone wants full professional management, targeted advisory support, or complete self-direction, whether they value cost efficiency, time savings, or maximum guidance, that decision should belong to them. This Constitution exists to protect that freedom. And confidentially, this is the shift the market has already started making, whether the industry is ready to admit it or not. The future of real estate won't be built on assumed value. It will be built on proven value, earned trust, and real choice. And ultimately, you decide. This has been Confidential Remarks.